You are listening to the Midlife with Courage podcast. This is where women in midlife come each week for inspiration, motivation, and sometimes a little education to help them flourish after 40. Let's get started. Today, we're talking with Tamar Hurwitz-Fleming, who wants us to embrace and find joy in something we have not always found joy in as we get to be a certain age, our birthdays. We're going to talk about how to have a happy birthday with Tamar Hurwitz-Fleming. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Midlife with Courage. I am Kim Benoit, your host. I am so happy to have you all here, and I'm also very happy to have my guest here with me today. Her name is Tamar Hurwitz-Fleming. Welcome to the podcast, Tamar. And I said that correctly.
You did. You did.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kim. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we are going to talk about something that sometimes we don't want to talk about or experience as we get to be this age. We're going to talk about our birthdays. But before we do that, I would just like you to introduce yourself. Tell us where in the world you are and what you're doing.
So, my name is Tamar Hurwitz-Fleming, and I'm an author of a book called How to Have a Happy Birthday. And I wrote this book because I realized a lot of people have trouble celebrating themselves and putting themselves into the center of their life just one day a year. There's no other book out there like it, and it's a self-help book. And I'm really excited to be helping people have happier birthdays because I think it's such a powerful act of self-affirmation to put yourself into the center of your birthday and celebrate in a way that delights you. I'm also just now hanging up my shingle as a birthday coach. So if anybody wants help in, sort of in a 2-session situation, a month before your birthday, let's talk about what's going on. Let's figure out what you want to do for your birthday. And then about a week after, let's debrief. So I am now a birthday coach as well.
I love it. You're the first birthday coach I've ever heard of. So that's amazing. So let's talk about, first of all, before we get into all the birthday, tell us about you a little bit more.
Yeah, I
What's your
was
journey like?
yeah, my journey, I was for 25 years I was an environmental educator, teaching
Oh,
kids what they could do to protect nature and the environment, right? Through a
mm,
variety of different ways. A very gratifying career. A big change for me came. I know that you're interested in sort of our courageous moments in life.
yes.
And for me that came when I was 52. I had a perfect life. I had a perfect job. I lived in a perfect apartment. I had a perfect husband. I still have the perfect husband, but I felt like my life was stagnant. And that became very evident when I spent the last 2 weeks of my cousin's life with him as he died of pancreatic cancer. He was one of my best friends. He was 68. I'm still really sad he's not here. And, being with him the last 2 weeks of his life, watching his transition and his journey, and being with him at the end really woke me up to the truth that we all are mortal and we all have a finite amount of time. And so it made me take a really deep look at my life and ask myself, was I happy in this perfect life I had created for myself? And up until a certain point, I had been, but it started to feel stagnant. And so I made a decision to leave my job, to leave San Francisco where I was living at the time. We still have our place there, but I don't live there full time anymore. And my husband and I just sat with each other and said, okay, let's both take a leap. So he went first to become, I kept the steady paycheck for a year, and then I followed him a year after. We started a boutique communications agency together, and then we ventured off into our future. And that was a really brave moment because there's no guarantee that when you cut your security ties with your job and your home that you're going to land on your feet. But my cousin's death really inspired me, and I felt like he was behind me saying, look, jump off the cliff and you will soar. You will not fall. And so I took that risk. I found my courage. We did it, and life's been great.
Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I love that you took that from it and life's too short and we need to jump. I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm 59 and a half. That's another tidbit about me that is true. I turned 60 in January, and it's a big milestone.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's like I have no problem getting older, but what I'm acknowledging is that there's less time ahead of me. 60 really
Yeah.
represents the beginning of your senior years, Social Security, Medicare, all that stuff. And that's significant. And so what do I want to do with the rest of the time that I have? I don't know how much time I have left,
Yeah.
but when I think about aging and I think about these milestone birthdays, it really helps me ask questions of myself so that I can be inspired by the answers and actually do something about it.
Right. Right. Yeah. I feel like when we get to this point, we see all those things that you just said, and then, okay, now I need to do something. Like, now what? Like, I'm like, now what? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So, and you're doing amazing things. So, how did it come about that you wanted to focus on birthdays?
I've been paying attention to birthdays without realizing it since I was really little. I had happy birthdays as a kid. I had sad birthdays. I had terrible birthdays. And in looking back, I now see that I was the perfect person to write this book because I was so tuned in and paying so much attention to the birthday experience without even realizing it. But the actual sort of moment where this idea came to me happened about 15, 20 years ago. I had a friend, a relatively new friend, and I knew his birthday was coming up. I said, "What are you doing for your birthday?" And he said, "I don't like my birthdays." And I thought, okay, well, maybe people just didn't make a big enough deal for him.
Yeah.
So when his birthday came, I brought him a big box of donuts. I said, "Happy birthday." And he slammed his hand on the table and said, "I told you I don't like my birthday." He was really upset with me.
Oh
I mean,
no.
he got mad at me. I didn't hear him, right?
You're
And
right.
I didn't. I didn't believe him. I thought, well, I mean, sure, he didn't like his birthdays, but if only I made some effort, then I could bring some joy to his day. And that wasn't true for him. And I walked away with the donuts thinking, there's something here to look at. And that began the journey of me to start remembering very quickly my own birthday experiences. I started talking to other people about theirs, and I realized, you know what? There's a self-help book here that needs to be written. And my book is a self-help book. It's not about how to match your cupcakes with the tablecloth. That's fine if you want to write that book, but
No, it is not that for sure.
it's not that. It's a self-help book.
Yeah.
It really invites readers to take a deep dive and sort of start exploring what some of their issues around their birthday might be so that we can unpack it and then redirect it so that you can actually have a happy birthday.
Yeah, I love it. And I did read it, and there's a workbook that comes with it too.
Yeah.
If you're listening, I'm just showing, the book. Your first part of it, you asked, what are your memories of your birthday? And you said that you remember your third birthday.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing
Yeah.
because I started thinking about it. And I don't know if that I can remember much about my birthdays, because I mean, yeah, my parents made a big deal out of it and we had parties and stuff, but, I was the oldest of four kids. So, I had my day and that was it.
Yeah.
I love the question in the workbook. I think it's like the first question you ask. Why am I uncomfortable with my birthday? Why are people uncomfortable with their birthdays?
Oh, there are a lot of reasons. I think most of the reasons stem from childhood. I think that when we have, kids know that we're special on our birthdays. I mean, we know it. We just know it. We see other people having their birthday celebrated in a variety of ways. And so when our day comes, it's like, today's my day. I'm so excited and I'm ready to be the center of attention. And when we get less than stellar energy coming our way, right? Our
Mhm.
expectations aren't met, our hopes aren't met. Maybe we get yelled at that day and we feel, stupid and shut down. I mean, we can really shut down. I think kids are sensitive like sea anemones. We just shut down,
Mhm.
especially on your birthday when we're so sensitive. So, childhood experiences, and any of your listeners that don't like their birthdays, start to think back about your childhood experiences. I was on a podcast recently, and the woman was very vulnerable in sharing her birthday avoidance, because I think we're all on a spectrum, whether we're birthday avoidant or birthday positive, and somewhere in between. And
Mhm.
she said, her birthday fell on fishing season, and her dad would just go fishing, and that was her birthday was not important. Fishing was more
Oh,
important. And so, to a grown up, it might be like, get over it, we'll deal with it later. But to a child, it's
oh
so
my gosh.
meaningful, right?
That makes me feel
Right.
terrible for her.
Right, I know. And ever
Oh.
since, she just doesn't like her birthdays. She actually canceled her birthday this year, like why bother? And so, unfortunately, once we get those messages in childhood, we find ways to replicate the narrative, to fulfill the prophecy that our birthdays don't matter and we're not important. So, childhood stuff is a big one. Another issue that happens is when we get older, right? And you mentioned this, being older, middle aged, especially as women, men too, but especially as women, we start to feel like, why do I want to admit I'm another year older? That doesn't do me any favors, according to society's view of aging, right?
Right, right.
And I'm not into that. I am 59 and a half and proud to say it.
Mm.
And we don't do anybody any favors when we buy into the lie that aging is a bad thing. Aging is a privilege. The fact that we get one more candle on the cake is a privilege. My cousin died at 68. He will never turn 70.
Mhm.
When I turn 70, I will think of him. I hope I turn 70. I don't know. I
Yeah,
hope I make it to 70. I would
me
make it to
too.
60, right? We
Right.
don't know. That's the point. Aging is a
Yeah.
privilege. And, in terms of society's messages that looking younger is better, dressing younger is the whole thing, I'm like, we can buy into it or not. That's our choice as women and men who are aging. We can say, okay, I'm going to feel this pressure and try to make myself look as young as possible. Personally, I know what I looked like as a young woman. I'm actually really curious to see what I'm going to look like as an old woman. Will
Yeah.
I have bright white hair? Will I have lots of wrinkles? How interesting to watch that transformation happen. Sure, you have to say goodbye to a previous version of yourself that you're used to seeing your whole life and start getting to know a new person in the mirror. Like, I don't recognize myself with lighter hair. I've had dark hair my whole life. It's starting to get light now. I
Yeah.
have to get used to that. And I'm okay with it. But it is a process. I'm not saying it's always easy.
Right.
But this is just part of the journey, the wrinkles, the sagging, the whole thing. I mean, it's real. The body
Yeah.
doesn't work as well as it used to. That's real. But I have choices about how I approach my aging, with resistance and criticism and judgment and fear, or with joy, with curiosity, with partnership. How can I partner with myself as I age, right? How can I take
Right.
care of my body and my mind and my spirit
Yeah.
so that we go hand in hand together until the day I die? I mean, the true marriage, and I say this in my book, the true marriage is spirit in body until death do we part.
Right.
My spirit is in my body till the day I die. That is the true marriage. And so,
Yeah.
how do I foster a positive, warm, friendly relationship with myself as I go through this journey of life and as I age? That's my approach to aging.
Yeah. I love that. And I love with the marriage of the spirit and the body, when you are born, that is the most sacred moment. And it reminds me, I was a nurse for 27 years and I mostly did OB and baby, labor
Oh, wow.
delivery. And that moment when that baby comes in, I mean, of course, as a nurse, I'm like, okay, is it breathing? Everything okay? All that stuff. But like, oh my gosh, a new person just came into the world and whoa, how amazing is that?
That's
Um,
right. And that's why birthdays are so powerful and so
yeah.
special and so spiritual. It's the most powerful day of our year. It's the most spiritual day of our year. And it's just one day a year that deserves our attention, our celebration, and our time.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned in the book too, and I agree, as we get older, as you're a kid, your parents, make a big deal about your birthday, but as you get older, they don't. And I think you mentioned when you turned 20, you had a day at your birthday and or maybe it was someone else in the book that you're writing about, but I totally related to it. You go off to college or, you're doing your thing and like, it's my birthday and nobody's saying anything. Where's my
Yeah.
cake?
Yeah. The story I open actually, the story that I opened my book with is my 18th birthday. It was my
Okay.
first year away from home, first year at college. I'm the baby of four. You're the oldest,
Ah,
I'm the baby.
yep.
And I turned 18, which is a milestone birthday. I had no plans. My only plan was to take the phone calls from my family that I knew were going to come. And I spent all day waiting for the phone to ring, and the phone calls never came. They completely forgot my birthday. It was devastating. It was
Oh,
awful. And unfortunately, it reinforced some negative beliefs I had about myself, that I wasn't lovable, I didn't matter. It was
yeah.
awful. It was terrible. And then it was 2 years later when I turned 20, another milestone birthday. I was living in France, my junior year abroad. I woke up again, no one around to celebrate me. But that's when I realized, hey, today's my day. It's up to me. I took the day off class. I walked through town. I bought myself a fancy bottle of French perfume that I could not afford on my student budget, but I did it anyway. I had a great birthday. It was
Yeah.
the first good birthday I had because it was under my own control. A lot of us, because our parents did it for us, they don't hand us a baton and say, okay, now you're an adult. Here's how you celebrate yourself. Right.
Right.
And so we sit there passively waiting for the phone to ring or waiting for other people to do for us what we can only do for ourselves. And essentially, we're outsourcing our birthday joy to other people without
Yeah.
actually communicating it, right? Just
Right.
waiting. Like if you loved me, you would know. If you loved me, you would like bring out the marching band, right?
Right.
People do love us. People do love us, but it's not their job to make our birthday joy happen. It's our job. It's our
Yeah.
day. What do I want to do on my birthday? Let me start planning for it. Let me make it be what I want. And yes, let me include you and invite you and have you participate. But I'm in charge. I'm in the driver's seat. I'm
Yeah.
not being passive.
Yeah. I love that attitude and that, take it in your own hands. And we should do that in so many other areas of our lives too. I just had my birthday, which I read your book. Like I got your book a week before my birthday, so I'm like reading it really fast to get it in there. But last year on my birthday, I was starting down this little path and I took myself to the beach. I had my own day. I was sitting in the sun. And that was one of the best birthdays ever because I didn't have to worry about where are we going to eat? Who's making, what are we doing? Like, I'm just taking
Yeah.
my day. It was my day to
Yeah.
do it. And I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes, right? How healing, how
Yeah.
joyful, and you get to have it. No one
Yeah.
begrudges you when you say I'm taking my birthday off to do what I want.
Right.
Everyone's like, "You go, girl."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then this year I was like, okay, well, this is what we're doing. My daughters are always like, well, what do you want to do on your birthday? And da, da, da. I'm like, it was me this time, like, well, I'm doing this and this and this If you want to come, great. If you don't, I don't care.
I love it. And how did it work out for you?
It was great. It was a great day. I did spend it with
Yeah.
one daughter and my friend, and then we went out to eat. It's just, it
Yeah.
was my day and I got to
Yeah.
choose. So I love
Yeah.
that. So I love that you're
Yeah.
doing this for so many other people too. So,
Yeah, me too. I actually think it's that when we learn to celebrate our birthdays with intention, it helps us the rest of the year, right? When I can
hmm
say to myself, what do I want to do for myself on my birthday? It starts to let me ask that question on the other days of the year where it's not my birthday. Not to
yeah.
necessarily say, stop the trains as my birthday, but to say, okay, how can I bring more delight into my life? How can I
Right.
make choices that honor me? Those are some big questions that we get to ask on our birthday. But with practice, we can also do it on other days of the year.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, eh, I actually did a little channeling session around my birthday, and it worked so well together because the messages that I received and that I'm working on, like, this is my year. This is my year to shine. And I've got some things that I've got in the works that I'm going to do. And it's like, this is like New Year to me. It's because it's
Yes,
my year.
yes, yes. Yes. And birthdays are a personal new year. They
Yeah.
represent your personal new year. And it's not time to start it's not like January 1st where I'm going to go to the gym and I'm
Yeah.
going to blah, blah. It's a different kind of resolution that you
Yeah.
make with yourself on your personal new year. You look at the year ahead. What's
hmm
this year ahead looking like for me? What do I want to create? What do I want to manifest? And it's just
Right.
a year. It's very doable. It's not the 5 year or the 10-year plan. But, birthdays give us an opportunity to check in with ourselves. Am I
hmm
living the life I want to live? Am I being fulfilled? Am I fulfilling my potential? And if the
Right.
answer is yes, great. Keep being you, keep doing what you're doing. And if not, what adjustments can you make? What choices can you make in the coming year to get more in alignment with yourself? It's an ongoing project,
Sure.
right? But we have
Yeah.
to start somewhere. And birthdays are a really powerful jumping board from which we can
hmm
actually take a look at our own lives, right? It's such a personal holiday.
Yeah, really, it is. It's your own day. I love it.
Yeah.
And I wrote down to celebrate with presence, not presents, gifts, because it can lead to more profound celebration and more just a higher, I feel like it's a higher energy. You lift your
Yeah.
energy up because it's
Yes.
you.
Yes. Yes. And when I say celebrate with presents, it's like, I actually, the night before my birthday Eve is a thing. Just like
I
Christmas
love it.
Eve is a
Yeah, let's
thing,
talk
right?
about that. That's
Let's,
cool.
right? So
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, we know how special Christmas Eve is. Well, birthday Eve is too.
hmm
It's obviously the night before your birthday, but it's a time for you to start stepping into the birthday spirit. The birthday spirit will arrive on birthday Eve, but you get to help it. And one of the things that I do is I actually it's time to like dial everything down. I turn down the lights, I light the candles, I put on some music, and I create a birthday altar. I just find a space in my home where
Ah,
I put up a happy birthday banner. I put up a picture of myself from
oh,
childhood. I put a picture of my parents, other mementos that flowers, crystals, whatever I want. And then that is like turning a light switch on for the birthday energy to show up and to be there. It's
ah,
amazing. And then in the morning, this is really important for me, what I do, and I recommend it for any of you that are more spiritually based or sensitive, is to have a quiet moment with yourself first thing in the morning and tune into yourself, whether it's journaling, doing yoga, having tea in the garden. For me, I go in front of my altar and I just have moments of gratitude, right? For
hmm
myself, for my spirit, for God. I just really tune into who I am and allow myself to really sort of emerge in my fullest self, right? All parts of me. And it helps me become present with myself so that as the day continues, I don't feel like, wait, where am I? I've had it before where I didn't start my day like that. You wake up, the calls come, you're off and running, doing your thing. It's like,
hmm
wait, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? I never tuned in. I didn't bring myself along. I wasn't present and mindful in myself in the beginning so
Right.
that the rest of the day could unfold that way. So that's what I do. I start my day with a
Cool.
mindful presence. And that is the true gift for me, is being
Yeah.
fully present on my birthday. And I can't control everything that happens and I don't want to, because so much magic and good energy can happen out of the blue if you let it. And that's part of the
Right.
birthday fun, is showing up and being open to what, you know, the birthday spirit wants to gift you with. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's just turning on the radio and seeing what kind of songs come to you.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
yeah, because that's kind of amazing. I always, you turn on the radio, and on your birthday, you'd be surprised what
Oh,
will come through
interesting.
on your behalf. Oh yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
special. It's
That's
profound,
neat.
actually. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. So, but you would ask me something, about being present, and just sort of just this idea that's part of the happy birthday recipe, is where are you?
hmm
Where are you during it all, right? How
Yeah.
present are you?
Yeah.
And it's something we practice. It's not something we achieve instantly. It's just it's always a practice.
No, that's something a lot of people I know that are working on it, myself too, just being present in each moment and
Yeah.
letting come what comes and, keeping that
Yeah.
energy high. And then you talk about the day after your birthday too. It's a special
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. I mean, the day after your birthday, it's like the day after Christmas. You're integrating what happened the day before. Hopefully you had a great birthday and you're feeling the glow and you're thinking of how, you're just sort of picking up the pieces of the party. You're cleaning up in a sense, but in a great way. And
Yeah.
it's like, when you shake a snow globe and you watch the glitter settle, that's what the day after your birthday is like. It's about letting the glitter settle so that
Okay.
you can integrate and say, what worked, what didn't work, what do I want to think about next year? Because I think birthdays are 3 days long, the day
Oh
before, the
yeah.
day of, and the
I
day
take a whole
after.
week sometimes.
Do you? Yeah. I often encourage people to not plan a big presentation the day after your birthday or an important doctor's appointment. Anything that's going to stress you out on your birthday in anticipation of the next day, put it on
Ah,
hold because you want to really enjoy your birthday without worrying about tomorrow, you know,
right.
having to
Yep.
wake up early and catch a flight. Oh my gosh, I got to get to bed early. But it's your birthday. Why did you book your flight? Unless you have to, try to really create some breathing room for the day after your birthday.
Yeah. Great idea. Yeah. I used to, when I could stay up this late, I'd stay up till midnight on my birthday. So I would be awake for my
Yes.
whole birthday.
Yes.
It's still my birthday at 11:59. But now I can't stay awake that late. Um, so you've got some steps in the book I was reading. I kind of listed them out, like finding your joy. Can we talk about that a little bit? I think that's so important. Like we all need to find our joy. What makes us happy and uplifted? How does that relate to all of this?
Well, how does that relate to you? I want to hear from you because you just had your birthday. You read the book beforehand. You tell me what that
Oh,
means to you.
so finding joy for me is just living in the moment, enjoying like outdoors, everything outdoors, my dog and of course my husband, but my dog.
Yeah.
Just having fun and being just light and not having to
Yeah.
worry about anything.
Yeah, that's right. And we all have different ways of finding our joy, right?
Hmm.
That's the whole point. We have to find our joy. And our birthday gives us an opportunity to ask ourselves, what would bring me joy? What
Hmm.
would I love to do on my birthday? It can be anything. It can be anything that you can make happen. And you're allowed to have it. You're allowed to do it. A lot of people feel like, oh, aren't I being selfish? Aren't I being self-centered? It's all about me. That's what birthdays are about. We all get one day a year to put ourselves in the center of our life.
Yeah.
And if you don't take that day and use it, then you're missing an opportunity to put yourself in the center of your life, to be self centered, which to me is a good thing. It's good to be centered around yourself because here's the thing, if you're not centered around yourself, who are you centered on? Are you in their space trying to manage their life, trying to live their life for them? What about your life? I'm enough to handle. Believe me, taking care of myself and being self centered in myself is a big job. So
Mhm.
if I can really just focus on me and be the best version of me that I can be, then I can be a better wife and a better friend and a better colleague, right? It's
Mhm.
just because I've done the work on myself. So this
Yeah.
idea that we're being self-centered and selfish, I just think it's part of this brainwashing that we have to put other people's needs before ours and we
Mhm.
have to not think of ourselves. And I'm just, especially as women, right? As
Oh yeah.
caretakers, people pleasers. A lot of us are people pleasers, putting other people's needs before our own. It doesn't really help anybody, especially when it means we're losing ourselves in the process. Now, I just want to draw the distinction that some of us are people pleasers and some of us really like to be of service. I imagine that you, Kim, being a nurse and bringing these babies into the world, that you love being of service, that you love helping
Mhm.
other people. I mean, I can't imagine how you could be a nurse without that inner
Yeah.
inner desire to be of service. That's a beautiful thing, and some souls are just born that way. And God bless you for being one of those people here that is like that because we need
Yeah.
people like you to help, right? But
Mhm.
that's different than people pleasing. Being of service is different than people pleasing, and I want to draw that distinction. And I do want to say that birthdays allow us, they give us permission to press the pause button on the rest of our life for just one day a year and say, what would bring me joy? What would bring me delight? What do I want to do? And sometimes we don't know the answer, which is why I say we need to start planning for our birthday in advance.
Yeah.
4 to 6 weeks in advance, you need to start thinking about what you want to do. You can't wake up on your birthday and just be like, okay, now what? That's like waking up on Thanksgiving and
Oh,
saying, okay, who's bringing dinner and who's coming? Like that doesn't happen. You plan, right? Your
right.
birthday's a
Yeah.
major holiday. You need to plan for it.
Yeah. That's a good point because there's been birthdays where half the day has gone by and I haven't really done anything that I wanted to
Yeah,
do. So that's
right.
such a good idea to plan it ahead
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Just like
Yeah.
any major holiday, you plan in advance.
Yeah.
Because, here's the thing. If you want to go to the spa or get a manicure, you got to make reservations,
Right.
right? You want to
Yeah.
go to a fancy dinner at the new restaurant that opened in town, you got to make reservations. You want your friends to come over for a barbecue, you have to reserve their time. They
Hmm.
may not be available if you wake up on your birthday and say, hey, come over today for a barbecue. It's my birthday. They're like, why didn't you tell me weeks ago? I
Yeah.
can't do it. They'll be frustrated and they'll feel bad.
Sure.
And you will have subconsciously sabotaged your own birthday joy because that's something that we do. When we're
Yeah.
birthday avoidant and we don't like our birthdays, we set it up for ourselves subconsciously. A lot of us set it up where we sabotage our birthday joy. See, my birthday isn't important. See, nobody wants to celebrate me. Well, you didn't give them an opportunity to. You called
Yeah.
them at the last minute. How could they celebrate you when you didn't give them an opportunity to say yes? So
Right.
I just want to call that out. Actually, chapter 2 of my book is called The Birthday Blues. And it's because it's such a big issue for people. And I wanted to get into it right away. This
Yeah.
idea that, we can feel anxious and depressed and moody as our birthday's approaching. And we don't know why. It's just like a big wave of energy we want to duck from. And
Hmm.
really, it's a big wave of energy of joy and transformation that we need to learn how to surf.
Yeah. Talk more about that.
Okay. Well, so birthday, as we feel our birthday approaching, I mean, I start to feel it definitely, and no, my birthday is January 9th. So
Mhm.
right around Thanksgiving, I know it's on the way. December 12th is exactly 4 weeks before my birthday. And it's like, okay, it's coming. I know it's coming.
You know.
And then I get through the holiday season and the new year. But it's a wave of energy that's building and I can feel it rising. And
Mhm.
here it comes. And if I'm birthday positive, I'm ready to embrace it. And as I say, surf that wave on my birthday,
Yeah.
let it gently drop me off on shore. Or if I'm birthday avoidant, I'm going to start getting moody. I'm going to get emotional. I might start picking fights with people close to me
Mhm.
as a way to keep my energy down, like, and sabotage any kind of joy I might have. Because once again, it's that time of year where I get anxious and unfulfilled because I have birthday pain, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I'm saying, let's be mindful of that. Let's look at what the birthday pain might be, the source of it. Let's address it. Let's let it stay in the past and catch up to our current self and say, you know what? I don't want my birthdays to be sad anymore. I'm ready to practice having a happier birthday. And here's how I can do it. And so that when that wave of energy approaches and we start to feel those feelings, we're actually conscious of it. Like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm feeling birthday anxiety because I'm not so sure I'm going to have a happy birthday this year because I never have had a happy birthday. Yikes.
Sure.
It's like, okay, take yourself by the hand and say, it's okay because this year it's different. This year we took the day off work. This year we decided that we wanted to do XYZ, right?
Mhm.
So start to look forward to the day. And if you've planned for it and you've planned activities that bring you joy, that
Mhm.
you're going to enjoy, then guess what? You're going to start looking forward to your birthday for the first time in your life.
Yeah, for sure. And what a great feeling too. One of my big messages is, you have everything within inside of you already to do great things.
Yes.
And this is just another part of that. Like, celebrate yourself.
Yes. Yes. And you see, everybody gets a birthday. It's an equal opportunity provider. We all get one
Yeah.
24-hour period. I don't get to have 27 hours and you get 22. It's one
Right.
24-hour period, right?
Yeah.
And so nobody begrudges us being happy on our birthday.
Yeah.
Why would they? They get a birthday too. There's no envy. I'm
Yeah.
not going to envy you because you had a great birthday because I don't get one. I get one if I choose it. That's the whole
Sure.
point. If I want
Mhm.
a happy birthday, I get to choose it for myself.
Yeah.
That's my power.
Yeah. And you have that power. You have to
I
take that
do.
power and do
Yeah,
it.
you do. You do.
Yeah.
We all have that power.
Yeah.
Even if we feel tender, even if we feel afraid, even if we feel vulnerable, it's okay. Take small steps. A woman I knew read an early draft of my book. And so she just went through her third birthday, actually, as a result of the timing of her birthday. She was
Mhm.
birthday avoidant, didn't care about her birthdays.
Mhm.
After reading my book, she decided that for her birthday, because it was coming right up, she was going to buy herself a cake that she wanted. So she did that. And
Oh.
that was good. That was the first step. And then the second year, she decided, okay, I'm going to have a barbecue with the family. And then this year, when I wished her a happy birthday, she said, I finally understand that birthdays are special. And I
Okay.
was so happy to hear that. And it really let me see that for her, it took about 3 birthdays to
Yeah.
finally sink in, to have a positive experience and to build off that, right? Her first
Yeah.
birthday with the cake, her second birthday with the family barbecue, to finally realize, like, okay, it is a special day. What do I want to do? And so when it comes around next year, you start to get excited about it.
Sure. Have you heard from people who have been doing this that kind of translates into other areas of their life too? Like you said, it kind of helps build that energy for other things.
Yeah, I've heard that, this idea that I have permission to ask
Mhm.
myself what I want,
Yeah.
can be transformational. Again, especially for women. We're so used to being
Uh-huh.
caretakers and mothers and thinking of other people's needs in front of our own. We don't even know how to ask for what we want. And so
Right.
practicing that just for our birthday starts to strengthen those muscles so that as the other in other times of the year, it's like, okay, this really woke me up to other areas of my life. And I have heard that from people,
Yeah.
that it gave them permission to start asking themselves where else in their life can they turn up the joy and turn down the discord, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't know that we have that power to do that. We're just sort of in a trance with our life. Like this is just the way it is. And I'm just thinking of everybody else and it's not really about me. And I'm like, hey, we all get to think about ourselves and create the life we want. And it doesn't mean it's easy, actually. And it
Right.
doesn't mean it's easy for those around us. Like,
Hmm.
whoa, what got into Tamar?
Yeah.
It's like, well, what got into Tamar? Tamar got into Tamar,
Yeah.
right? Tamar woke up to her own power, her own life, realizing that no one can make my life happen. I'm in charge of my life. And so what's the life, what kind of life do I want to live? And, if I'm in a relationship or any kinds of relationships that don't support me being me to the fullest, guess what? Those relationships are going to start to fade out. Now, if
Yeah.
it's a marriage relationship, it's a much trickier situation, a much more difficult reality that emerges
Sure.
of suddenly and thank goodness, my husband and I don't have to worry about that in my partnership. My husband, I was fully formed as myself when my husband and I met in middle age and got married, right? So I
Okay.
didn't have to go through those awkward growing phases with him that I did in the earlier part of my life.
Sure.
But yeah, birthdays are very telling actually. And it's not just us who can sabotage our birthdays, but actually people close to us can sabotage our birthday joy.
Hmm.
And that's something to pay attention to, siblings that don't want us to have the day to ourselves and want to insert themselves and they're sort of envious of us taking time away or doing something
Yeah.
without them, or partners that don't want to give us what we want. I spoke with a woman. This was heartbreaking to me, actually. She said all she wanted for her birthday was for her husband to bring her a cake, and he
Oh.
wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it.
Oh
I'm like,
no.
how hard is it to do? I finally just said, well, why don't you bake your own cake with your kids on your birthday? Like,
Yeah.
like make your birthday cake your own birthday ritual. She hated her birthday. And with her husband that wouldn't bring her a birthday cake, I understand why. And to be honest, I'm guessing, I'd even bet $1 that there's a lot of resentment in that relationship
Sure.
because
Sure.
the husband must be feeling some resentment to be taking it out on her birthday and not bring her a cake. That's the only
Yeah.
explanation. There's something
Yeah.
they need, they probably need some to do some
There's
work on
something
their
deeper
marriage.
there.
There's something, yeah. And that's my point. Birthdays are
Yeah.
sort of like, are we happy for each other on our birthdays?
Yeah.
And if we should be, and if we're
Right.
not, let's look at that. Why not?
Right. Yeah. I know, like my husband isn't huge on his birthday. He's like, oh, whatever. I try and do something special for him, but he would hate a surprise party or anything
Yeah.
like that. So I know he doesn't want a big deal made out of it. He
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
his day, like, and he knows what I like, so it
Yeah.
works.
And some people are, let's be honest, the big shiny birthday party, the surprise, the cake, the candles, the song, a lot of people don't want that. And
Right.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Meet your husband where he is.
Yep.
My husband's birthday is in less than a month. I've started saying, what do you want to do on your birthday?
Mm.
He's like, good question. Let's think about it. Let's
Yeah.
ideate together. But, asking your husband what he wants to do and honoring what his answer is the most loving thing you can do for him,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
not forcing anything.
Nope. After 37 years, you kind of figure those things out.
That's right.
I wrote down receive the love. Can we talk about that? I love that. First of all, just those words, receive the love that you get. Like, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So one of the things I suggest that people do on their birthdays is that they tell strangers it's their birthday. When you go to the coffee shop and get your triple latte, let the person know behind the counter, it's my birthday today. And say with joy, it's my birthday today. And watch them light up. They will sincerely light up and give you good energy. It's a stranger. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. But the point is that they're willing to give you love in that moment because they understand how special you are on your birthday. So from even a stranger to the people closest to you, people want to give you, it's like, on your wedding day, people want to give the bride and the groom all this good energy. They just
Mhm.
beam it at you. It's the same with your birthday. People want to beam good energy at you when it's your birthday because we all know what it's like to have a birthday. We all know it's our
Yeah.
special moment. So when I say receive the love, it's, open up. Allow yourself the vulnerability of opening up to receive the good energy that's there for you, believing that people mean it, that they're
Mhm.
sincere. That's part of receiving the love is believing people when they're giving it to
Yeah.
you, right?
That's true. Yeah.
The past couple of years, I go out to breakfast with my sister, and it's my birthday. And we go to this fabulous French bakery restaurant. And then, for dessert, I get this French pastry, with a candle on it.
Ooh.
And when the waiters come up and give it to me, there's like 4 or 5 of them, they start singing to me. And I
Oh.
start crying, like, because they're literally singing to me. I don't know these people. They do it every day. I don't know that they're loving me or
Oh.
not. It doesn't matter. I'm receiving their energy in that moment for me as an act of love, stranger to
Yeah.
stranger. And it's
Oh.
healing. It's healing to receive that kind of love, to,
Hmm.
to allow yourself to just open to the energy, the positive energy people want to give you. A lot of us are uncomfortable with it. And birthdays give us an opportunity to stretch a little further, stretch a
Hmm.
little further to receive that positive energy that's there for us on our birthday.
Yeah. Don't you think too, and with things that are happening in the world, we need positive energy.
We do.
And if someone
We
tells me
do.
it's their birthday, oh, happy birthday. That just, here's some energy. Like, here,
Right?
let
Right?
good things, good things.
Right? I mean, it's really sincere. It's a sincere reaction on your
Yeah.
part. I feel that way. When we're in
Yeah.
restaurants and they bring out the cake for some stranger, I start singing.
Yeah.
I clap, I smile, I beam my energy at them. I'm so excited that they're celebrating their birthday and it's their
Yeah.
moment to receive
Right.
love, right? It's just one day a
Yeah.
year. And
Yeah.
people want to give it to you. Let us learn how to receive it, right? We know
Yeah.
how we feel when we give it. How does it feel when we receive it? It's not always easy.
Mm-mm.
That's why I say receive the love, receive it,
The
take
love.
it, just take it in. It's
Yeah.
very healing.
Yeah. Yeah, especially as women, again, as we keep
Yes.
saying that, we're used to just give, 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 give. We got to remember
Yeah.
to receive too.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah,
essential, actually. It's
for sure.
essential.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So many good things. So, why don't you let us know where we can get the book? I know you have a website. Do you want to tell us?
Yeah. So my book, How to Have a Happy Birthday, can be bought
Yay.
wherever books are sold. There it is. There's also an ebook and an audiobook. So paperback, hardback, and then the workbook. And you can go to howtohaveahappybirthday.com and find me there, find my social there, find my books there, all of that. Howtohaveahappybirthday.com. And if you're interested in having me help you as a birthday coach, then you can contact me through there as well.
I love that. So, the coaching is, you said it's just 2 sessions, one
That's
before
it.
your birthday and one
Yeah.
after.
Yeah. A
But,
month before your birthday, I want you to fill out a questionnaire in advance to kind of get an idea of where you are in terms
mhm,
of your birthday, your relationship to your birthday. And then we get on the phone, we talk it out. What are some of those birthday issues you have? And what are some ideas you want to do for your birthday? I can help you figure out what would bring you joy, what's doable and
yeah.
achievable and exciting for you. And then a week after your birthday, I want to get on the phone and say, okay, how did it go? What did
Yeah.
you learn? Because we learn things. When we start celebrating our birthdays intentionally, we learn, like, oh, that didn't work. To have, I once had a party where I invited my best friends and my colleagues and the neighbors. That actually wasn't a good party for me. That would have been a better barbecue. So, like, 4th of July barbecue would have been a great situation for that. But for me, I was so sensitive on my birthday and I felt compelled to take care of the people who came from work. I
Oh,
didn't, I
sure.
wasn't able to spend time with my best friends at my own party because I would have ignored the people from work and my neighbors who wanted some of my attention and time. I felt like I needed to take care of them as a good
Right.
hostess.
Yeah.
But on your birthday, you're extra sensitive. And so I realized that wasn't a good idea. Now I just curate my birthday parties so that everybody who's there knows each other
Hmm.
and can have a good time without me. So that when I'm
Uh,
showing up and I'm there and I'm enjoying people, I don't have to take care of people to make sure that they're
yeah.
socially okay. And that, you know the thing we do at parties when we have people
Yeah.
over. So
Yeah.
that's what I learned coming through a birthday. And so when we have a birthday, we want to say what worked, that worked. What didn't work, that didn't work. And then we put it into practice for next year.
I love
And so
it.
that's what that wrap up session would be about.
Okay. What a
Yeah.
wonderful thing that is. That would be a good birthday present for someone.
Yeah. And by the way, if you're going to give the book, I'm so glad you said that. If you're going to give the book as a birthday present,
Hmm.
give it to the person 4 to 6 weeks in advance of their birthday
Hmm.
so that they have time to read it and put it into action. Giving it to them on their birthday means they have to wait an entire year until the
Sure.
next year comes around. So have it be a preamble to their birthday if
Yeah.
you want them to put it to work.
I will put the link to that in the show notes for people to check that out. Oh my goodness. So before we say goodbye, is there any one last little message you want to leave with our listeners, Tamar?
Yeah, thanks, Kim. I just want to say that for all of your listeners who are hearing this and saying, yeah, yeah, sounds good, but that's not me, I really want to speak to you and say that you, yes, you deserve to have a happy birthday, that you are special, you are a miracle, and the day your life began deserves to be celebrated. But it's up to you to make it happen in whatever way that works for you. You're in charge. And I promise you that if you start to think about your birthday as an opportunity to put your life in the center of your world and do what you want that brings you delight, I promise you that you will have a happier birthday than you've ever had.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. We will talk soon.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Midlife with Courage podcast. If you liked what you heard, I would love it if you would leave me a review. And make sure you follow on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time, take care of your beautiful self.